Hi everyone, this is CB from CJB Studios. As a lot of you may know, I became a pretty big fan of THX when it came to seeing their logo on home video releases of movies. Just like anyone else out there who grew up with them, one of the most interesting things about them are the trailers they have. From the simplistic ones like Wings and Broadway to the more extraordinary ones like Tex, Cavalcade, Amazing Life, and Genesis. No matter what, any THX trailer, both official and fan-made, will always have a unique concept behind them. And of course, this project is no exception. But how exactly did it come to be? Well, you're all about to find out. Welcome to the making of THX Lightbox. The idea for this project goes all the way back to sometime in 2019. I remember doing some research about how light-up signs were made, and my dad said to me that if I went on a walk with him, he'd make me one with the THX logo in it. Of course, I never went on that walk, but the idea just stuck with me. It wasn't until March 15th, 2022, when I thought of my dad's laser engraver that he got for Christmas last year. When I told him that we could use it for that one idea I stuck with 3 years ago, he was cool with it, and we got to work on it only 2 months later. Obviously, you can't have a THX logo sign without the THX logo itself. Otherwise, you'll end up with a blank sign. And you especially can't have it light up without the use of any type of lights you want. In order for my dad to engrave the THX logo, I used the font that was based off of it, which I then exported as a bitmap image to him to download on his laptop. The laptop was hooked up to an Atom Stack A5 Pro laser engraver, which came with a manual as well as a free computer program that the machine could be used for when it came to engraving. On May 8th, 1 week before the project officially started production, my dad bought some LED tape lights, an accessory kit, and a connector set, all from Home Depot. While the accessory kit and the connector set weren't really used for this project, the lights most certainly were. Don't worry, I'll talk about that a little bit later. For now, it's time to explain how the THX logo was engraved. First things first, you need to have some kind of material to engrave something on. Given that I wanted the THX logo to be cut out, my dad decided to test it out on a piece of wood with the logo being engraved at a small scale. It may have taken at least 1 hour or so to engrave at that size, but it surprisingly worked very well. Granted, that was more of a practice test to see how capable it went, so we decided to do it again, only this time a little bit bigger. But very quickly, we were running into a problem. Due to the thickness of the wood and the strength of the laser, it couldn't burn and cut through. Whenever we tried different thicknesses such as 3mm, it just didn't work out because the laser wasn't powerful enough. On the first try, the piece of wood got scorched. By the second try, it somehow moved with the X being drawn in the wrong spot. Every single time a slip-up happened during a test run, we had to start the whole thing all over again. Luckily, that didn't mean the project was going to be put on hold forever because my mom had a different idea. One day, while she and my sister were shopping, they came across some foam and suggested that maybe we could use that instead, since it apparently seemed easier to cut through. Even though foam was also flammable, it worked so successfully that some of the letters fell out during the process. Because of that, my dad decided to engrave the THX logo yet again, only now using a mat board. And just like the fall, it worked perfectly. Once we got the engraving taken care of, it was time to light it up. As mentioned earlier, my dad bought some LED lights along with an accessory kit and connector set. But as also mentioned earlier, it turned out we didn't really need the accessory kit nor the connector set, just the LEDs themselves. The reason is because I originally wanted them to form the outline of the THX logo as an homage to my other fan-made trailer known as Energy. However, that was proven difficult to do because of the amount of wiring and lights, so that's why we only went with the LEDs. For the finishing touches, my mom and I went to Home Depot to buy some frosted glass to make them appear foggy like a real Lightbox does. We also bought 2 more black mat boards just in case if we made a mistake with the THX logo being engraved again. At one point, my dad thought of having the lights refracting in the THX logo by having 2 small mat board cutouts of it, along with a smaller version of the logo carved in the glass so it would look 3D. Unfortunately, that didn't seem to work because just like what happened with the wood, it got scorched. Speaking of which, here's how the final product was put together. First, my dad built a big frame out of wood, with each section being stained black along with a smaller rectangular one that had some of the LEDs in it, with a hole that the power cable was fed through to be plugged into a wall socket. Next, the piece of frosted glass was put on top of the LEDs. Then, the THX logo cutout was placed on top of that. And finally, a piece of regular glass was put on top of the THX logo, with the frame being reattached. The end result looks like an official Lightbox. I'd like to point out that before the sign was hung up and plugged into the wall, my dad wrote a little thank you message on the back, talking about how he got me into THX back when I was little, which I'll admit was very sweet. The only other thing left was the audio mix. As we all know, no THX trailer is complete without the iconic deep note. Around the time when the project was starting production, I asked Sebastian Segura if he could send me some audio channels of different versions of the deep note that I could mess around with. He was able to do so through Google Drive, and I was able to get a pretty decent audio mix out of it. Combined with what effects I could pick for the LEDs, the THX Lightbox trailer was finally complete and ready to premiere. Despite how time-consuming this project was, probably even more so than my LEGO Darth Vader one, I'm honestly very proud of how it turned out. One thing I was not expecting at all was how big of a hit it was going to be after its premiere, but it managed to do so, and I'm very thankful for that. And there you go. That is how my fan-made THX Lightbox trailer was made. I really hope you all enjoyed this little behind-the-scenes video as to how it was all done. If you did, please comment, like, subscribe, and hopefully I'll be able to see you all again soon. Thanks, everyone!